Senate bean soup is a soup that's served in the dining room of the United States Senate every single day. And that's a tradition that dates back to the early 20th century.
I would get sick of that if I were a politician.
I know, I was thinking the same thing.
Maybe a Caesar salad. Either way, joining us to show us how to make it on today, Election Day, we have personal chef Bill Collins, chefbill.com. You're also an author. You're a Renaissance man of cooking.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that. And not only am I a Renaissance man of cooking, but I'm cooking with foods provided by our friends at Whole Foods in Hadley today.
Thanks.
So they provided all the good stuff we're making. And I think it's appropriate for Election Day that we're making this Senate bean soup. And by the way, Seth, just because it's on the menu every day, if you become a senator, that does not mean you have to have it every day. But it's available to you.
You could have it
You
every
could.
day.
So
okay.
that, so
You're not forced to
You're not
have
forced.
it.
So in case I was keeping you from running for Senate, you can now do
I
that.
will officially announce my candidacy.
Well, there you go.
I won't.
So, but if you do decide to have it every day, this is the actual recipe that's used in the U.S. Senate. And it starts with dried beans. And they start with navy beans, which are these small beans. Now, a lot of people are intimidated because this recipe starts with dry beans. And they say, well, why not just use a canned bean?
That's what I would say.
Exactly, and for a few reasons. Number one, these have more nutrition, they have a better texture, better flavor, and if you were to use canned beans in a soup that's simmering for an hour and a half or 2 hours, it's going to turn to mush. So having said that, let me walk you through the very easy steps of cooking with dried beans so you can say, oh my, that is not only easy, but it's a better taste. So the first thing, this is what the beans look like when you get them. These are dried beans, and you can hear them clanking around in there. And what you want to do is you're going to, this recipe calls for about 2 pounds of beans, 1.5 pounds or so of beans. It doesn't have to be exact. So what you want to do when you get the beans, put them in your hands, look to see if there are any little stones in there. They're usually, I haven't found a stone in beans in forever. But
Is that a stone? No.
no, that's just.
Oh, that's another little bean.
Just another little bean. Sometimes a little grayer, a little whiter, and you do this with all beans. And then just kind of put them into a bowl. I'll put them into the pan just to make sure there's nothing there. This is going to take you all of about 4 minutes.
Okay.
But it's worth it because
It's worth it because you don't want to have that one time to find that you found a stone in your bean. It's like finding a pit in an olive. It won't end well.
that is a bean.
Yep.
So then the next step is you want to rinse them off because usually they are clean. There might be a little dirt still on them. So you just do a casual quick look. Believe me, when you see a stone in there, it'll jump out at you.
Okay.
Even if you have a black bean, if you're cooking with black beans, it'll still stand out. So that's another way of doing it too. Just pour them in and just see how they're doing.
Stone-free.
So stone-free completely. So the next step is you want to rinse those off. So right there, you've just done 2 steps in a bit less than 5 minutes. The third step is put them in a pot of cold water. And you want a lot of water. So it's about 10 cups for every cup of beans. So in this case, so this filled up the whole stock pot. And then bring them to a boil, and then let it sit for 24 hours. Don't even have to refrigerate it. Let it sit, and you can see the difference in the beans right there.
They're hydrated.
They're hydrated, and you can even bite into this. You won't chip a tooth, but it's not cooked through certainly, but it's certainly softer. Another reason for doing this is beans have a certain, shall we say, side effect. They're very famous. That's why they're called the musical fruit. And so this also helps remove that side effect.
Good.
Not a guarantee, but it helps.
Interesting. All right, so that's how you do the dried. What about frozen beans? Because you can buy them frozen.
I haven't used those, so I'd have to say I don't know. I haven't seen that. So I don't know.
If they would get mushy.
Oh, you know something? I'm going to go out and limb, like lima beans and things like that. I think that those are par cooked or mostly cooked through. So I haven't seen black beans or navy beans or pea beans like that. So there's so many varieties of beans. So I haven't seen that, so I'd have to answer I don't know.
Okay.
But this is very simple. Plus, these are going to keep for a long, long time. So you don't even have to use them all. You don't have to worry about, oh, if I don't cook these up, they're going to go bad in a week. Those can sit in your pantry for ages and ages. And at that point, you're ready to make the soup, and it's got literally just 3 ingredients, or if you count salt and pepper, 5 ingredients. So
Easy
you're
and
ready to go.
affordable.
Easy and affordable. Speaking of affordable, as we'll see in a minute, actually, I'm going to, during the break, I'll have you guess how much a whole pot of the soup costs.
Sounds good to me. All right, well, don't go anywhere then. We will be back with more chef secrets, figure out how much a soup costs, and so much more. Just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. We're back with personal chef Bill Collins from chefbill.com. We're celebrating Election Day by making the Senate soup.
Yes, Senate bean soup. This is on the menu every day in the Senate, has been for over 100 years, and it's such a simple, classic soup to make. And you don't have to just do it on Election Day. As the colder weather comes along, this is just perfect.
And our tax dollars aren't being wasted because this soup, I imagine, is very inexpensive to make.
This is amazing. You've got the ham bone in there, dried beans, water, onion, salt, and pepper.
I bet under 15 bucks for that whole pot of soup.
Your answer is yes. If you said under $10, you'd still be right.
And how many servings roughly are we going to get out of this
I'm going to
recipe?
say ballparkish 10, 12.
Wow.
And if you have kids, even more because they don't eat as much when they're small.
That's true. So you're looking at under $1 a serving for a nutritious, healthy, filling.
Delicious.
Exactly. And this can be the main part of the meal. Have a salad with this, have some bread with this. It's really, because it's a hearty soup. And what really gives it its flavor is the ham bone, the ham hock that's in there. And so it's smoky. Actually, rather than just talk about it, why don't I serve some up? It's smoky, it's very flavorful, and it's just a very simple way to go. And as you can see, it's rather hearty. What I also did is, you see it looks a little bit thick, which is nice, is I also just took a potato masher and just popped in a few times, mashed up just some of the beans just to give it some of the body.
Okay.
And so what I also did, and this is in the recipe which is on the Mass Appeal website, is I took, when it was all done, I took the ham bone out, let it sit for a few minutes, and that's perfect. Oh, absolutely perfect. Get a nice little color.
Very hot.
Oh, that's right, it's warm. Don't burn the top of your mouth.
I'll get to it.
But
Tastes good, though.
a ham hock has just a little bit of meat on it. So as you can see, just a bit of meat going through there. A lot of protein from the beans. This is just a filling. This could be the main course of your dinner.
And you sauteed up the onions in the pan first, or do you just put them in whole?
I put them in whole.
Okay.
Because, and here's another thing, by putting them in with about a half an hour to go, they cook through, you still get more of the onion flavor because they haven't turned to mush, which is a nice texture with the soup, but there's still a little body to them and there's still some oniony flavor throughout.
This is easy.
It's easy. So really all you're doing is throwing in the beans and the ham hock in hot water, bring it to a simmer, let it simmer. Not a hard boil because that can crack the beans a bit. Have it go on a simmer, hour and a half or so, throw in the onion, another half an hour, you're done. It couldn't be any easier. And also, if you want to do this in a crock pot, in a slow cooker, you can do that. So just throw it all in, walk away, come back about 8 hours later, and you'll have this great soup. So either way, it's fast, it's easy with just no maintenance and no going to the pot.
So easy. And that's great to serve a lot of people. And the hardest thing is really just with the dried beans, and that's not even hard at all.
Exactly. That's a total of 5 minutes.
If you happen to be having an election day party tonight, you're golden. This is the recipe you make, and you save some money.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Chef Bill, thank you so much for stopping
Thank you very much.
Thank
and
you,
you
Chef
can
Bill.
tune in next week for even more delicious recipes with Chef Bill. In the meantime, don't forget, get out and vote. It's your civic responsibility.
That's right. Here's to Election Day.